Well, howdy gang, Jeff from G's Gear, putting together a couple of videos of guitars that we're about to add to the store at reverb.com. And we've got three really cool guitars today. We're starting out with a wonderful, wonderful Archtop that is kind of an unknown pedigree. This is a 1937, according to the date stamp within, Wards guitar, sold by Montgomery Wards. For those who may not be old enough to remember, Montgomery Wards was a competitor of Sears in the catalog sales world, particularly throughout the Depression and up really into the 1950s. And as such, like Sears, they didn't manufacture their own items. They were retailers of items that they purchased from other manufacturers. And with that in mind, it's often difficult to tell who made the guitars for Wards. So one of the reasons for that is that the manufacturers also made guitars under their own brands or made them for other department stores or other concerns, and they couldn't be set up to conflict with each other price-wise. They all had to appear to be sort of specific to whoever the retailer was. So there are things I can tell you about this guitar, and there are things that I can't. I can tell you that in 1937, there were 4 companies that made guitars for Montgomery Ward. One was Kay, one was Regal, one was Harmony, and the other was Gibson. And they all released them for Montgomery Ward. I can tell you what this is not. This is definitely not a Harmony-made guitar. Harmony did not make Archtops for Montgomery Ward. They made them for other concerns, but not for Wards. They made flat tops for Wards. They made electric guitars for Wards. It's not likely that this is a Gibson. It's not out of the question, but it's not likely. One of the unusual things about this guitar is that it's blonde, and most of the guitars that were sold through the Wards catalogs were sunburst. So it's a little hard to tell. I can say that if you sat me down blindfolded and put this guitar in my hand and asked me to tell you what it was, the neck tells me it's a K. It just has the feel of a K neck. It's really beefy. It's a V profile neck, but at the same time, it also feels kind of light. I don't think there's a truss rod in here, but it's dead straight, and it just, it's like if you know, you know. I've played a lot of K guitars over the years, and it feels like a K neck. What's unusual about that, and this is again why I tell you that I can't tell you who made this, the guitars that Kay made for Montgomery Ward, typically, although they would only have maybe Wards written up top or have a blank headstock, they were typically done with a K style headstock, which is what I refer to as kind of a pediment headstock. It would come up and there'd be a rounded part up at the top here that stuck out away from the rest of it. If you look up old K guitars, you'll see them. They're really definitive, The Wards guitars that you see in the catalogs that were made by K all have that kind of headstock. So that might argue for this being a Regal guitar. Regals often had a headstock that was flared out a little bit like this, although they tended to not have sharp corners. They tended to be a little bit more rounded on the end. It's hard to know. What I can tell you is this thing is a cannon. It has a great big voice, and it is a delight to play. I sit and noodle on this thing for hours. It's a solid spruce top. It's maple back and sides, and we've got a nice kind of a striped maple on the sides. The back is a little bit more plain. There's a little bit of a stripe to it. It's not bold, we'll say. And it has a mahogany neck with that deep V profile. a set of Grover tuners, I believe. I'm pretty sure they're Grovers. And it's all original. Tortoiseshell binding. It's celluloid binding, I'm sure, but it is in perfect condition. And yeah, the dot markers. Sometimes dot markers can tell you a little bit about the guitars. These look a little bit more like the dot markers you'd see on a K, particularly when you get to the 12th fret. The K guitars often had markers that were out closer to the edges of the fretboard rather than inset a bit. I can't tell you definitively, but God, this thing feels like a K guitar to me. But it's the nicest K guitar I've ever played. The neck is phenomenal. The action is so crisp. It's 5/64ths on the low E, 1/16th on the high E. Plays beautifully up and down the fretboard. It's got a few nicks and dings to it, but there's nothing wrong with it. When it came into the shop, it had 2 loose braces on the back of the guitar. And fixing braces on a flat top with a round sound hole is difficult enough. Getting braces fixed on an arch top or an arched back guitar when you have to go in through an F hole is a pain in the neck or other parts of the anatomy. But we did manage to get them fixed. You can see it. There's glue squeeze out. We managed to get in there. We made a tool to get the brace clamped down from within, and we got glue in underneath the braces. It's hide glue, so it's really strong, and they're both down and they're both holding perfectly. So beyond that, we didn't have to do too much. The next set was really nice. We cleaned up the hardware, cleaned up the body of the guitar, leveled and crowned the frets, checked and adjusted the nut slot depths, cleaned and lubricated the tuners. There were no other repairs that this guitar needed. It was just those 2 braces, and it is ready to go. Big voice. I keep thinking that this guitar would be great in something like a Texas swing band, or you could even use this to drive something like an Irish band, because it's got a big bottom end to it. You know, a swing band or the Irish band, you'll have melody instruments, mandolins and violins and whatnot up top, and you want something in that mid-range that has a big round bottom end to it, and this guitar's got it. Notes are really warm. It's terrific. It's a terrific Archtop, 1937. It's date stamped in ink. Not K style ink though. It doesn't have K type serial numbers in it. It's got a serial number, you'll see it in the listing, I think it's 8246, that's also ink stamped in there. That doesn't seem to reference anything. It could possibly be a lot number related to the production of the instrument. So it is hard to know, but I will tell you, it's tight as a tick. The binding is perfect. The top is great. The arch of the top is beautiful. The action is absolutely splendid. The back and sides, minor nicks and dings, but from any sort of viewing distance, this thing looks just gorgeous. Tuners work beautifully. I love it. I love it. Brazilian rosewood fretboard, Brazilian rosewood bridge, spruce top, maple back and sides, mahogany neck. Great arch top, big body, 16-inch lower bout, 25-inch scale. 25-inch scale makes it feel more like Gibson guitars. But again, I don't think it's a Gibson. though they made a lot of guitars for Wards. I actually have a Gibson made Wards guitar in my own collection that I would never part with. It is just spectacular. So check it out. It's at G's Gear at reverb.com. You can also find it at www.gsgear.com, our website, where you'll see the guitars and other instruments that we have for sale. And you'll also see that we do restoration work on these instruments, both for the instruments we sell and for our client base. So if you are in the Philadelphia area or South Jersey or something like that, and you need work done on a guitar, bass, mandolin, give us a holler. At our G's Gear website, you'll see a list of the services we offer and what we charge for them. All right, we'll play something to take us out here. We'll get on to the next guitar. This one, it's going to be priced attractively, and I don't think this is going to last too long. It's just, the sound is just too damn good. All right, we'll see you on the flip side.